Howdy, 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 and welcome back. We talked one-step equations earlier. Now we're talking two-step equations. And what those look like are just like this. Let's go 3m plus 2 equals, 20. Why not? Okay, so the reason these are called two-step equations is because there's two operations happening. So we have multiplication here and addition there. So the process is going to be the same as one-step equations. We're going to be using inverse operations to isolate our variable so that we can see what it actually equals. Because right now it could be anything. It's a variable. It could be a million, it could be 1, it could be 38, doesn't matter. I want to figure out what it actually is. So inverse operations. The cool thing about inverse operations is that inverse means opposite, right? And we've done a lot of work on order of operations. And of course, we have BEDMAS. Some people call it PEDMAS because they say parentheses instead of brackets, which is fine. I'm a BEDMAS man myself, though. Okay, so when we're using order of operations normally, and we're trying to find some kind of sum or value, we work from left to right, right? We simplify anything that's inside brackets, then we do exponents, then we do division and multiplication, and then we do addition and subtraction, working this direction. But when we are using inverse operations to solve for a variable, inverse means opposite. So guess what? We're going opposite, baby. So instead of solving what's in brackets first, we're doing subtraction first. Instead of doing multiplication or division before addition, we're doing addition first. So let's do some inverse operations right now. I've got a multiplication here and I've got an addition here. Which one should I cancel off first? Well, I'm working backwards because it's inverse operations, so I got to do the addition first. And what is the inverse of plus 2? You guessed it, that's subtract 2. And again, remember that balance scale. If I just subtract 2 from the left-hand side, this will no longer be balanced, and therefore that equal sign will no longer be true. And we're all about truth in math. So if I subtract 2 here, I got to subtract 2 over here. Add 2 and subtract 2 cancel. 3m is going to drop down. That plus sign, don't need it anymore because there's nothing else to add. Equal sign drops down. 20 subtract 2 is 18. Cool. And now I've just down to one-step equation, just like we've been working on. So 3 times m, what's the inverse of timesing by 3? Yeah, the inverse is divide. We'll divide by 3. And I have to do whatever I do on the left-hand side on the right-hand side. So I'll divide by 3 over there as well. Times by 3 and divide by 3 cancel. M drops down. Equal sign drops down. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So m is equal to 6. And the cool thing is this, is that I can actually check my work just to see if it actually works. So I'll start with 3m plus 2. So 3m plus 2 equals 20. So that's kind of like putting down my formula if I was trying to find the area or perimeter or something. Now I will plug in what I believe m to be in for m. So I'll plug in 6 for m. Plus 2 drops down. Equals 20 drops down. And hey, now I'm not doing the inverse anymore. Now I'm just working regularly. So yeah, I'll go in this direction on BEDMAS. So what do I solve or simplify first? Do I do the multiplication or addition first? Yep, multiplication comes before addition. So 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 2 drops down. Equals 20 drops down. And now I've only got one last operation to solve. So 18 plus 2, of course, is 20. Equals 20. And hey, 20 is 20. That is true. So there you have it. Not only did I use inverse operations, and I went backwards on my order of operations to solve for my variable, I checked my work as well. I plugged in that number into the variable to see if it actually worked. So if that made sense, you can cancel off the video and get to work. If it didn't, let's do one together. And you know what? You might want to watch this one because I'm going to use the opposite. I'm going to use some division to start here. Let's go P. Use the letter P. Why not? P pretty bad P there, Lewis. Okay, P divided by, let's say 7. Okay, and we will subtract 10. Why not? Equals 12. Okay, so I've got two operations happening here. I've got my division happening. I've got subtraction happening. And again, I'm talking inverse operations, so I can isolate this P, so it's all by itself. So I have to work the opposite direction of the order of operation. I'm going backwards on BEDMAS. So I'm not going to do the division first. I'm going to get rid of that subtract 10 first. And what's the inverse of subtract 10? Add 10. And I have to do it on both sides if my scale is going to remain balanced and this equal sign is the truth. Subtract 10 and add 10 cancels. Yikes. Sorry, 12 plus 10 equals 22. There we go. Equal sign drops down. P divided by 7. That'll drop down too. Okay. Now, I've just got a one-step equation left over. I got to get P by itself. How do I do that? Well, it's divided by 7 right now. What's the inverse of divided by 7? Yep, times by 7. I'll do it on both sides, so our scale can remain balanced. Divide by 7 and times by 7 cancel out. P drops down. Equal sign drops down. And 22 times 7. Well, I know that 20 times 7 is 140. I know that 2 times 7 is 14. So 140 plus 14. Yep, that's 154. P is equal to 154. And just to be safe, I'm going to double check my work. So let's do this thing. P divided by 7, take away 10, is equal to 12. Okay, now I'll plug in what I think my answer is in for P. So 154 goes in place of P. Everything else will just stay the same. Equals 12. All right, cool. Okay, now I'm not doing inverse operations, so I can follow the regular order of operations. So what should happen first, division or subtraction? Of course, division has to happen first. Okay. Now, you know what? Just to be safe, I'm going to do some long division over here, just to make sure I know I'm doing my 154 divided by 7 correctly, just to be safe. 7 does not divide into 1, but it does divide into 15, and it divides in twice. 7 times 2 is 14. I'll subtract. Oops, I don't know why I put a 7 there. It's supposed to be a 4. Sorry, 154. Sorry, guys. 15 take away 14 is 1. Now I bring down the 4. 7 divides into 14 twice. Cool. So 154 divided by 7, the quotient is 22. Everything else drops down. And now I've just got one more operation. 22 take away 10 simplifies to 12. And 12 is 12. So there you have it. I used I used inverse operations to solve this equation. Once I got an answer I thought was correct, I plugged that number back in to see if I can simplify it and make sure that my scale is balanced. And you know what? Yep, I did circle my answer. Awesome. All right, guys. I hope you have some fun with this. Believe it or not, I think it's awesome. I think it's really fun doing these. But again, I'm a math teacher, so I'm biased. I hope you have as much fun as I do. Good luck.